The Fleet Mag Celebrity Corner with Dr. Marsha. Today's special guest, Alvin Garrett.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Fantastic as well.
All
Yeah,
right now. I
yes.
like to hear that. It is my pleasure, Mr. Garrett. Oh my
It's a
God.
pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited. And, I've been listening to your music. And I have to admit, I did not know you before.
Hmm.
Miss JP said, "Would you love to interview him?" And I think she wanted me to interview you because she knows my personality. So she
Uh-huh.
probably thought,
So this is some discovery, huh? So this is
yes, it is
okay.
so, it's like profound, it's like pleasant. Because I've been
Mm,
sending your songs to everybody, like through text message sharing and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah,
listen to this guy, right? So what
yeah.
does he sound like? I kept asking people. I was putting people to the test, right?
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so I am your number one fan. I know you got a number one fan already, but I'm your number one plus. Okay.
I love it. I love this
Yes.
always room at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Right?
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
love
you
that
you just
because
made you
the
just
music
made
is
my day.
absolutely beautiful.
You just made my day. It's always refreshing to be discovered, right?
Yes.
Oh, and sometimes artists get it in their head that everybody on the planet knows who they are. I don't do that. I don't do that. So when people discover me and then they have that smile like you have right now,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that's what you want. That's
Because
what you
I
want.
tell you, it brought back some memories. So there's just so many of the songs that brought back memories.
Mhm.
And I just really, it made me think, and I have lots of questions. So let's
Okay.
get into it, okay? Let's do
Let's
it, right?
go.
So, Mr. Garrett, I noticed your style and everything.
Thank
So
you.
you're like,
Thank you.
you're my new bestie. It's like, wow, wow. And look at his style. And I love your fashion sense
Thank you. Thank
because I'm
you.
a fashionista myself. So it takes one to know one, right?
Thank you. And I'm new. I'm new into this. I've
Oh,
been growing.
really?
Yeah, because I started off as a bass guitarist. So when you're in the
Uh-huh.
only thing people notice is your funk face.
Right, 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 right.
So when I
Right, the
stepped out
funk
front as
face.
an artist, I'm like, I gotta get this thing together.
Well, I tell you, you look cool, honey. Now, if
Thank
if you were a woman, I would say you are fly. But no, so for a man, you have to say you look cool, but you look really cool. I love the colors that you wear. I
thank you.
love the way. Who is your stylist?
Well, my management team, Kerry puts things together. I used to work with a guy named Ryan Christopher. He styles for all of those
Ah,
fancy people in Atlanta. He's
okay.
actually from Birmingham. And when he first started styling me, maybe about 12 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I was like, look, I'm a blank slate. I don't know much about style. Now I put some in it, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll give you a good canvas. So I just
Uh-huh.
paid attention to the choices and was, open to different colors. Because at first
Oh, I love that.
I had to allow myself to wear things that I probably wouldn't have worn in my role as a background musician. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't have to shine as much. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
I was
right,
more
right,
so
right.
felt, but
Uh-huh.
you got to wear some colors. You got to dazzle a little bit. So I
Yes,
bought into it and started
yes.
saying, okay, this actually works for me. This
Yeah,
works.
well, you doing it, okay? As they say, you did that, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, I love, 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 love the colors. I'm like, wow, look at him. And I
Mhm.
have to commend you on your grandma's birthday. I saw
Oh,
that picture on Instagram. I thought that was the sweetest thing.
yeah, yeah. She just turned 88, and
Wow. And
and
she looks good.
she does, and it was really special this year, and I think you saw the picture with me and my dad
Uh-huh.
kissing her on both cheeks, and so
Uh-huh.
to just celebrate her, she's dealing with health issues, and it just makes you
Mm.
reflect on just like how did I become who I am? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
seeing that connection and celebrating that time with her, you know what I mean? And she was
Yes. Yes.
happy because I sang to her and serenaded her. And she just think I hung the moon. So
I know, of course, she's a grandma. I'm a grandma, so yeah, grandkids can do no wrong. That's my grandbaby, so he walks on the moon. Okay,
that's
so
right. That's
you
right.
better know it, right? Right. So,
And she
so
was
I get.
happy. And she was happy.
I love talking, so I can go way off the deep end. But let's get back to let's rewind a little bit because I really want to hear about your albums, your different albums. I want to hear about the one about what is it? The lightness of love. What
Yeah.
does that mean? I have my idea, but I want to hear what you have to say as the owner, the author of that.
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. I think through the spectrum of music and how love has been portrayed, you often consider love as something associated with the blues, right? Or something
Mm,
heavy,
heavy. Oh,
brokenheartedness, some of the
yes.
greatest songs are associated with some of the heaviest feelings or heaviest
Yes.
experiences. But the true character, in my opinion, the true character of love is light because it lifts you, right? And so we may be heavy on each other based on how we treat each other, but love
Mm,
itself is
mm,
light. And so in that project, I wanted people to feel the lightness of love. Like,
mm,
love should be something that lifts you if you allow it to be what it is, right? And if
yes.
you allow it to guide your choices with how you treat your person, how
Mm,
you treat
mhm,
yourself, it should be
mhm,
something that is light. And so I wanted that album to feel very light when you listen to it, the sonics of it to not be too heavy. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Or
mm,
even too sexy, right?
mm,
A lot of the way you produce music, it can be dark, right? And I didn't
mm,
want a dark feeling. I wanted it to feel light because also it was coming on the back end of the pandemic. So I wrote it
mm,
during the pandemic. So I felt like I wanted people to hear this album and feel good because there was so much
mm.
heaviness going on
Yeah,
around them.
that's true.
So the
That's
purpose of
true.
that album was to lift people and say,
Mm,
man, this makes me feel good. And so
mhm,
that's
mhm,
sort of the
mhm.
spirit of that album.
Okay, okay. So I was thinking the same thing because love gives you this euphoric kind of feeling, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I'm just like floating on air, honey. Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. It was like, oh my God, I love that. I love the title
Mhm,
because it does give you a different perspective, right?
mhm.
Because you're right. A lot of times we think, oh, love is about heartbreak. It's like, oh, he did me wrong, she did me, all this stuff. But
Right.
love should not be like that. It
No,
should be like you're floating on air. Like when
that's
you're
right.
with this person, you don't. It's like you're not even really existing. What is it they say? It's like it's existential. You're like just
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes.
yes,
And love, like you say, love didn't do that to you. That man or
right,
that, you know,
right, right,
they,
right.
people being mistreated, you can't say, well, love hurts me. No, love,
Uh-huh.
the person did. I
Yes,
mean, and so that's why I feel like love can be mischaracterized depending on
yes,
people's
yes.
experiences, as opposed to saying, if we really understood the purpose of it,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
then we would,
Mm,
hopefully change our choices and treat people differently and treat them better. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? On different levels, even down to how we treat our neighbors and how we treat
mm.
our fellow man. We should be light. That experience with another human being should lift me. It should, like you say,
Yes.
help me elevate. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the type of person I am. My Southern roots, being a preacher's kid, I wasn't taught about, religion and all that stuff. I was taught about love, hope,
Mm.
faith, those types of things
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that help lift your character and your countenance, make you smile.
Mm.
And that's key to the music I write. Like that's when I'm writing music, I'm thinking about the listeners and what I want them to feel
Mm.
through what I'm writing. And hopefully you
Mm-hmm.
heard that as you were listening,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that, okay, there's something, this touches me a certain way.
Yes.
This makes me think a certain way. And so if I'm writing a love song, I don't want the woman to feel objectified. I
Oh,
want her,
please.
I
Thank
want
you
her
for
to
that.
feel like I'm talking to her
Mm-hmm.
and not
Mm-hmm.
about her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even in my lyrics, I'm like, when the lady is listening,
Mm-hmm.
oof, he talking to me.
Yes.
Because
Like when you said, I'll get back to you, or when
yeah,
I get back to,
till
oh
I
my
get back
God,
to
I
you.
love that. Yes, I love that. I love
Come
that.
on.
Love
Looking in
that.
the mirror of my mind, I can see your
Yes.
arms wrapped around me. That's right.
Right. Right.
And that's what you want, I mean, and
Yes.
that's, of course, that's old school, but that's also, me being raised by a father who loved my mother in my presence.
Mm,
I
mm,
saw it.
mm,
I didn't have to read about it or see it on TV.
mm-hmm,
I saw it in
mm-hmm,
my home. And so that's reflected through my music and even my inspirational soul music. I'm still building the listener up in whatever way I choose. And so I believe that, there's not enough music like
yes,
that
you're
out
right.
there. Modern day music, of course,
Mm-hmm,
old school
mm-hmm,
music did it
mm-hmm,
where, you felt like music is the surrogate for the voice. If you're trying to rap, as the old school players say, rap to the lady,
mm-hmm,
trying
right,
to rap,
right,
trying to get you some game on. You're gonna play
right,
that song because you ain't that smooth, but that song is.
right, right,
Well,
right,
what songs can you find today that you can
mm,
play that'll speak for you? Well, you pull up some Alvin Garrett.
right.
And so my fans, the people that do know me, they like, hey, me and my lady get down to your music.
Right.
They tell you. But hey,
It's
we can get
beautiful.
down to you because think
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a man that loves my woman, why would I want her hearing something that makes her feel
Right.
objective while
Right.
I'm trying to do my thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
So
that's just the opposite of what you want to hear at a time like that. Right.
yeah,
Right.
depending
Right.
on the type of lady you with. Some ladies want to
Exactly.
hear that.
Right. Somebody like it, but yeah.
Somebody might like it,
Right.
but at
Somebody might
least
like
for I know my target audience,
it. Mm-hmm.
I know what I want people to feel when they hear my music, male, female, and everything in between. I want them to feel, empowered, enlightened. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
And honored. Yeah, because this is like
Yeah.
it's like a tribute. The songs are like a tribute to you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that I mean to the woman, and that's what I love. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really, really, really love that because it makes you feel womanly, sexy, makes you feel loved, all that, and that's
Yeah.
really all we want.
Mm-hmm.
You know that movie. What do women want? They want to be loved, just
They
like
want-
everybody else.
That's
That's
right.
all they
That's right.
want.
That's right.
Exactly,
That's
that's all they
right.
want. They want somebody to know that they cherish them, that they
Mm-hmm.
find them beautiful. That I mean, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's what is the eye of that beholder, the person that is looking at you.
Right.
What do they see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's all we want. And so to engage that and put that as a part of the music, I think is a beautiful thing because that is what's lacking in most music today.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It
It
really
is.
is. Yeah.
And so I
So,
stand by it. I stand by it. And that's, I'm working on new music now.
all
So
right.
I'll be dropping a new single soon. And it's
Okay.
entitled You Give Me Life.
Ooh,
Ooh, it's
yes,
entitled,
honey.
Come on, You Give Me Life. You know?
Ooh,
Mm,
yes, 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 yes,
yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
what
Okay.
that's what you want to know who you giving life to, right?
Yes, 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 yes,
Mm,
yes, yes. And that is, I think I've heard that. Yeah, that's a saying, right? People say, oh,
mhm.
it gives me life. It isn't talking about maybe where you dress, the purse you have.
Right.
Girls said about purse, girl, that dress is giving me life. But yes, yes, yes,
I'm like,
yes.
you give me life.
You are giving me life.
'Cause
Yes, I
living
like
just ain't
that.
living without you.
Uh-huh.
I was just existing without you.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you
Let's
give me
not go
life.
down that road. Okay. That.
I was just existing, baby, till you came
Oh my
along. I'm
God.
living now. This is living.
Yes, yes.
That's
Oh,
what
I
you want
can't
to
wait for that one to come out. I cannot wait for that to come out. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm following you. I think I've started following you on IG and
hear.
Facebook, and definitely I've been sharing your music, like I said, with people. I'm like, oh my God, you guys know
Yeah.
him? I never heard of him. What is it? Who is this guy? Right? And then the clothes and all that, but I really love it. And I didn't know that you did a song with Ruben Studdard. I love Ruben
Oh
because
yeah.
Ruben reminds me of Luther's voice, right? His voice reminds me of Luther. So it was like Luther and Al Green were together, right?
See, go on, come stop playing around. Come on back home and get these hits. We go so far back. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Uh-huh.
I came to college here in Birmingham, and that's where
Uh-huh.
he and I met at a young age, and we
Okay.
started hanging out, and we started a band together. Oh yeah, we were in a band together and everything. This is pre-American Idol, so Oh
Wow.
yeah, so we were homies like that, riding around, promoting the shows,
Uh-huh.
concerts, and so. Of course, everybody got to know him post American Idol, and I was
Mm-hmm.
with him as his bass guitarist, musical director.
Mm.
But I'm the pre-famous guy. I knew the
Before all of that
oh
thing.
yeah, that
Yeah.
story. You know what I'm saying? So one day
Yes.
when we do
Yeah.
our little biopic and we tell everybody like how we were riding around town, and so it was really cool. And it's just an ode to dreamers, right? You know, people see that glory, but then do they realize what was really going on, you
Mm.
know, you were in the making of, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
love even that with him because he was so close to not making it,
Mm.
you know. And there was this one night we were promoting a concert, and there was this little store, and we were passing out flyers. And by this time, he was actually on American Idol, but he wasn't supposed to tell anybody.
Mm.
For me, I was the mouth, right?
Right.
He the singer, I'm the mouth, okay?
Right, right, right,
So
right.
I'm telling these guys, I'm like, hey, you need to hook my man up. He about to be famous. They're like, what you doing? He's like, shh, be quiet. I'm like, no, sir, I'm about to get you some free jerseys. And so, so I talked to the guys. I said, he's about to be famous, about to be on this show called American Idol. They said, yo, we'll hook you up. So Ruben grabs the jersey, and it was this little small pendant about this big, said 205. He said, make that 205 real big so I can rep my city.
Mm.
And that was the birth of the big 205 flavor that was on the jersey that he
Ah.
wore. And there's no question about it that without that 205, he was just a singer. But
Mm.
205, he was a movement.
Mm. I love
He was
that.
a movement, but if I was quiet, who knows if he would have had the fanfare and the support from home. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? And it may not be your season when it's theirs, but come
Ooh.
on, stay
Mm.
stay in the dream, stay in the stream of the dream. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
yes,
you never
yes.
know. And so, you know, I love that part of my story because when that happened, even though my part of the story wasn't told, I know that if I was quiet and I wasn't who I am, he,
Mm-hmm.
who knows how that would have gone for him.
Yes.
You know
And
what I mean? And so,
there's
you
another
know, I
lesson
always encourage
too.
people like,
Yeah.
hey, speak up, stand,
Yes.
stand by your people too, you know?
Mm-hmm. My mother used to say, "A closed mouth does not get fed." Right? You know,
Yeah.
you've heard that expression.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's one
Uh,
of those Southern expressions. So you have to talk up. You have to speak up. You can't be afraid. And sometimes people are afraid of, they're afraid they're going to help somebody else. But if you help somebody else, guess what? You're going to get it back. How
you
many
help the
times? Hello.
come
So
on.
you better be helping other people.
That's absolutely, absolutely. And I love it. Matter of fact, and I'm a team player. I play football. You know what I mean? I play sports, so
Mm-hmm.
that's in my blood as well. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, if my team don't win, I'm losing. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm
That's
pushing
exactly
and
it.
pulling, and that's how I live my life. I'm pushing and
Yes.
pulling. Like if we're
Yes.
on the same squad, I'm
Hello.
pushing for mine, but I'm pulling you along. So don't get
Mm-hmm.
back. Come on, let's go.
Mm-hmm. And you're
You
gonna
know,
need some good people around you.
you
When you
have
get
to have.
there, you're gonna need some good people around you. Okay. You do not want the because the
Yeah,
stories, some of that have been told recently, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So you got to have some good people around. You just can't go
That's
out
right.
there on your own thinking that, oh no, I don't know these people, but I'm gonna hang with them. No, you better bring somebody that you know that you can trust with you.
That's right. And cultivate, your
Mm-hmm.
team. A lot of people say, I'm looking for a team. Well, but can you build a team? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Most people can't build a team. They can't train the people around them
Mm-hmm.
to be something for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of artists feel like just because you're talented, folks supposed to flock to you and make a percentage of your,
Mm-hmm.
struggle and strain with you and just turn your life into this big, huge pipe dream. That's not how it
Mm-hmm.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to train your people to work with and for you. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so I have a wonderful, wonderful team of people who I've trained because I have a managerial background.
Mm,
Here's
okay.
how to manage me.
Right. And now, is that what you studied in school? In college? Okay.
Business
Okay.
management, yeah.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
marketing, business
Okay.
management. That's my sort of my roots in education.
Okay.
So, I was always one of those musicians that the promoters didn't like so much because I could count my money.
Right. 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 Yeah,
You
and
know?
people don't like it when you know how to count. You know,
No,
they
hey,
don't like
man, you supposed to pay your dues. No, bro, I pay
it.
my tithes. You're gonna have to pay me my rent, you know. I pay tithes.
Oh
You
boy,
pay
here
me.
comes that Alvin Garrett again. Oh God, right.
He bought his money. He bought
Yeah,
his
he
money.
buy his money, yo. Right.
Hey, but you see them busting them seeds, right? You see them.
Mm-hmm,
They can't see
mm-hmm,
us, right?
mm-hmm. So when
Yeah.
you got the talent, you better know how to manage your money because guess what? You'll be like Red Fox, right? Don't
Mhm.
know what happened to all your money, Red. You know, can't talk. Don't
That's
know.
right.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. You have to be able to count. So, like I said, I love your music, and I read that you also a songwriter. So you not only sing the songs, you write the songs, you produce the songs. You're a one man show all within yourself.
Well, I can't say I'm a one-man show. I had to learn how to do everything so I
Mm,
wouldn't have to stand still waiting on people.
right. Oh,
You know,
ooh, ooh,
so yeah, one of my biggest songs is a song called "By Myself."
ooh, I
Um,
love that one. I
yeah,
love
one
that
of my
one too.
biggest songs, but that's kind of my personal motto. Is
Mm-hmm.
like if you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'll go by myself because I do
Mm-hmm.
believe in teamwork, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing more powerful than togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be doggone if you gonna make me
Hold me
stop.
back. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do that. So
Right.
I'll go by myself if I have to. So I learned to produce, I learned to engineer, I learned to mix my own records, I learned to sing when the singers said they didn't want to sing my songs. I
Mm.
didn't come into this wanting to be the artist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. I mean, look at my buddy. You know what I'm saying? If you can read between the lines, like if
Mm-hmm.
I have to sing my own songs if I can't get them where I need them to be. So
Mm-hmm.
much of my career has been this resilience to become what I needed, right? And so in doing all these things for myself, I was able to keep moving forward until I could find people who say, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, man, oh yeah, I'll produce your music. So I still know what I'm listening for, but
Mm-hmm.
here's where I'm headed. And so I have a production team. I'm able to build a team, but I have the credibility because they know, if you don't do it, he'll do it himself. I'll
Mm-hmm.
produce my own videos. I prefer not to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna stand still. I'm from Alabama, so it ain't. I mean, honestly, it's not like everybody's running around doing everything is in markets like LA or Atlanta. And that was one of the things once I started traveling, they were like, "Man, you do all this by yourself?" Because out here we got one job:
Mm-hmm.
writer rights, the singer
Mm-hmm.
sings, the
Mm-hmm.
engineers. We don't do all of this. I'm like, I'm from the South. You better do do it
Mm-hmm.
yourself or it won't get done.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
And because the other part of that is, I think, being from the South is like you said, you don't have access to a lot of producers there. So
Mhm.
producers are not, oh yeah, we got plenty of producers in Alabama. Oh, who are they? I can count them on one hand, right? Versus if you're in LA, yeah, we need like three or four hands to count them on. Yeah, I get what you're
Exactly,
saying. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And we're not in the dark ages in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
talent, but I say that our city, like many smaller markets, are more of your export markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where if you get to a certain level of talent, you're leaving for better opportunities. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
Nashville if you're country or rock,
Mm-hmm.
you grew up in, Coleman, Alabama, you going up to Tennessee for your biggest shot, or you going to LA for pop, or you're going to New York. So these are, places where we live. And most places where we live, the talent leaves for the opportunities to match their talent, as opposed to staying in their hometown and then having import opportunities. Because sometimes those opportunities don't come to you. You have to
Mm-hmm.
go to them. And I will say that Birmingham is one of those markets. We're sort of in the middle. We're
Mm-hmm.
close to, you're right next to Memphis. You're close to New Orleans. You're right next to Atlanta,
Yeah.
close to Nashville. So we're right sort of in this little heart
Mm-hmm.
where you're getting enough access to these
Mm-hmm.
other markets in the South to where you can really have a productive career, even if you're not quote unquote famous. You still have lots of bars and clubs and venues
Yeah.
where you can
Yeah.
make a really good living just working the market, the chitlin
Mm-hmm.
circuit, as they call it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, they
You
used
know,
to call that back in the day. They still call it that?
chitlin circuit, yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah, I
build a
didn't know
nice,
they still call it that. Yeah.
oh,
So now being a preacher's kid, how
yeah.
has that influenced your music, the type of music, the genre? Because yours is like a mix to me. It's not one thing. Like some people say, "Oh no, I'm only R&B." No,
Uh-huh.
yours is a mix. I hear
Yeah.
R&B. I hear definitely hear some soul. I hear some inspirational music in there, almost gospel in your songs as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll say my particular upbringing as it relates to me being a preacher's kid is a lot different than what most PKs would say from different denominations.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a Baptist or Holiness or Kojic, you're gonna have a different upbringing because that religious denomination is different.
Mm-hmm.
That was non-denominational. So
Ah,
he was talking about, hey son, this is the song I used to sing to your mama. I play, it's a thin line between love and hate, or
right, right, right.
so my dad was a hopeless romantic and he was
Uh-huh.
a good man. You know, he is a good man. He's still with me, thank the Lord. But
Uh-huh.
he's just he never put my quote unquote relationship with God into a religious context. It was love, hope, faith, the fruit of the
Mm.
spirit. And so he didn't teach that whole who God gonna get you kind of stuff.
Right, right,
He
right,
was
right.
like, just be wholesome, right? Let God guide you in
Mm-hmm.
all that you do. Walk by
Mm-hmm.
faith, not by sight. And
Mm-hmm.
so in my music, you'll hear my faith woven into the lyrics and the influence of it, where I'm not preaching at you, but you can tell, oh, it's something about that line. That sounds like a scripture. Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
it is, but I didn't say Jesus or I didn't say God because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want it to come off religious, but I wanted
Mm-hmm.
it to come off inspirational. And so my respect for women, you know, my respect for myself, my respect for mankind was taught to me, you know, by my pastor, who is also my father and friend. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that is, you do hear that influence and that freedom where he
Mm-hmm.
didn't make me feel like I was cheating on God by listening to jazz, by listening to
Right, right, right. And
just like that
singing it,
vocal.
yeah.
Right. It was more about the
Mm-hmm.
vulgarity of it. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
listen to, you know, the cursing. He didn't let us listen to that because that was more vulgar. But R&B is not vulgar. It's,
Right, right, right.
you know, so we didn't listen to vulgar music where it's
Mm-hmm.
cursing, killing, and
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. But R&B, jazz, all kinds of great music, he played it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like being a PK, I'm not with your typical PK.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Kirk Franklin first came out with Stomp.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, you would have think that he cursed Jesus in the song, the way people reacted. I remember that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and now everybody loves Kirk Franklin. But it was so funny how everybody was like, you know, I mean, everybody was against it. And I was looking at one of the Stellar award show that come on. What channel is that? I don't know if it's Aspire, but one of those channels, the Stellar channel, and they
Mm-hmm.
just show the old ones here and there, and I laugh because I'm like, I remember when they were wanted to throw stones at Kirk Franklin for singing,
Exactly.
right,
That devil music.
right, 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 and now you got people like Shirley Caesar with a little rap in some of her songs. I'm like, well, excuse me.
Hey, I'm telling you, you have to evolve.
Yes, 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 and there's nothing wrong with that. And like you say, I think the important thing is that, like you're saying, as long as you're not cursing in the music, because R&B is not vulgar. It's about love. It's about intimacy.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
And making a person know, or lyrics talk about how much you love somebody or whatever.
Mhm.
And even
Yeah.
if you're saying, "Oh, she's a brick house," you're still saying, "I like the way you look," basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so many ways, like you say, for people to approach music and and I always try to make sure that I acknowledge art and people's way of approaching art. That's their freedom. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
They want
mhm,
to
mhm,
use vulgarity. That's your choice, but don't make me out to be not cool because I chose not to. So for me,
mhm,
I always
mhm,
stand up for my choices. That's a part
mhm,
of my
mhm,
personal belief. It's like, hey, I respect yours. And I work with a lot of young people through my songwriting program that I have called The Right Life. And so
Yeah, I
a lot of
saw
young
that.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them, they rap, and I said, let me hear your music. They, you might not like it. I said, let me hear your music.
Uh-huh.
Of course, shooting and they banging and they all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, okay. But in my class,
Mm-hmm.
the challenge is, can you still tell your story
Mm.
minus all that? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not knocking what you're doing, but I'm challenging you to see if you can expand your vocabulary,
Yes.
tell your story. And that's the point of the class. It's not just a music class to record you. It's to
Mm-hmm.
challenge your way of thinking. And
Mm.
once I say, hey, freestyle, but you can't shoot nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Freestyle, but you can't sell no drugs.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh. Freestyle, but
Mm-hmm. Say
you can't
bad words about women.
you
Right.
can't bang this girl this many ways.
Right. Right.
So what you start doing is you hold up a mirror in front of their mind and you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh, my thoughts are so small
Mm-hmm.
because I'm being challenged to rap and freestyle about something that I haven't allowed to get into my mind. And so
Mm.
that's the point of the class, which is really a mental health therapy class through music,
Mm.
to say, how am I gonna get you to change your way of thinking if you can't even see your way of thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Music is a beautiful way to challenge a person to see themselves and hear themselves,
Mm. Mm.
through what comes out of their mouth when you turn on a beat. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, oh, everybody
Mm.
dead. Everybody dead. Why is everybody dead? That's
Right.
what I
Right. That's my song. What?
burners and choppers. I'm like, okay. Now, and when you give them a topic and you walk them through it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
find this safe space to be in touch with, okay, yeah, I can do a song that ain't killing nobody because I
Mm-hmm.
actually, and then that's when they say, because I actually, and then they open up to thoughts that they've been suppressing.
Mm.
Then they open up the feelings that they suppress because maybe I don't think that's cool, or maybe
Right.
this
Right.
might make me cry because I'm thinking about a painful, traumatic memory
Mm-hmm.
that I want to suppress. So it becomes
Mm-hmm.
a sort of healing experience. And it is a wonderful program. And I always tell people about it because that's something, through my success as a writer and
Mm-hmm.
producing other artists, I learned, like, if you just talk to people, if you just talk to them and get them to get comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
you can write a song that feels like them because you just
Mm-hmm.
got to listen, so yeah.
And so that project, and is that different from the Dannon project, or is the Dannon project you
It's a
collaborate?
it's a part of the
A
Dannon Project.
part of that. Okay.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
Dannon Project is the nonprofit that I work with, that focuses on helping young people that have been impacted by the criminal justice system or at-risk backgrounds, poverty, workforce development,
Hmm.
case
Oh yeah,
management.
yeah. I did read this Department of Labor sponsored project. Yes.
Department of Labor, Department of Energy,
Oh, nice.
all the departments. So
Huh.
it's a really wonderful project. And if I had to say I had a cause, this would be it.
Mm,
Because I feel like it's a systemic solution for a systemic problem.
mm,
In the heart of, like you say, Alabama, the Birmingham, right here in the heart of the civil rights movement, where you would think, okay, racism this and racism that. Well, employers are looking for people to go to work, and so there's this special space to where if you pay taxes,
mm.
if you pay taxes,
Right.
yeah, well, I'll let you out of jail if you pay
Right.
taxes.
Right. Right.
Oh, will you pay taxes? Will you go to work? And so we're training people to say, hey, maybe people see you as a statistic, but change
Mm-hmm.
the story.
Mm,
Your choices. Tell the world that I'm not just this type of statistic. I'm that type of statistic. And let that statistic be something that builds your community, that loves your brother, loves your sisters, take care of your children by us giving you the tools you need, and to where
mm-hmm.
hope becomes tangible. And so that's what I love about working with the Dannon Project, is that it's not just preaching at people. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
stop the violence rally. It's a solution that
This
says,
is something that's gonna work, that
yeah,
actually works. Yeah.
it actually works
Yeah.
if you buy in. And so young
Mm-hmm.
people need to see that my good choices pay off. And so I spend a lot of my time being a part of that process, and showing young people, and music is a part of that process to get them to buy in, to say, hey, try positivity. It will pay
Mm-hmm.
off. And so there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of lobbying with employers. There's a lot of lobbying with the court systems to say,
Oh,
hey, if
nice.
they participate in what we're doing, give them that opportunity for a second, third, and fourth chance. You know,
Yeah, and we all need second chances, third chances. Yes,
that's right.
definitely.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's not like anybody's above or we won't allow it for certain people because we
Mhm.
all need it at some point in our life for some reason. And so
Exactly.
yeah, and I love that, that's part of it because that just says that, yeah, you messed up, we goofed, we all do. Hey, we're human beings.
Mhm.
That's what human beings do. We're not perfect, but I'm
That's right.
willing to give you a second chance if you're willing to do what it takes to keep that chance and do good with this chance. Don't go out there and do the same things you did. And if you did, come back, let's talk about, let's get you on the right path again. Because
That's
sometimes
right.
we have to start over more than once, right?
That's
Right,
right. That's right. That's
right.
right. That's
Sometimes we have
right.
to start over more than once, but yeah, take advantage of that change. That's a beautiful thing because some people don't ever get that. Yeah.
That's right. That's
And
right.
now, how does that relate to the Safety Project or the
Oh,
Safety? I know that's the name of your album, but tell me
mhm.
more about that because it sounds like it's in that same genre, same reign. Yeah.
It is. And so over the past couple of years, just working with people who have been impacted by the criminal justice system, it wasn't so much just what I was doing for them, it's what they were doing for me.
Mm,
Because we heard a lot about my
mm,
I had a father in the home. I went to college. I'm not from the streets. I'm
mm,
not afraid of the streets, but I'm not from the streets.
right.
So it was almost like when the story of Jesus when he was heading to raise the little girl from the dead or whatever. And they was like, Jesus, come, come, she's sick. And then the woman with the issue of blood came and touched him, and he's like, whoa, who touched me?
Mm-hmm.
And it was that kind of experience for me. It's like I wasn't
Mm,
expecting to be touched in the
mm,
way that I was touched by the people that touched me. Because I'm on my way to the Grammys, right? On
mm-hmm.
my way to touring and all those types of things, but then unexpected, somebody says, "Hey, you're what I need." You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Hey, your authenticity is what I need. I didn't think guys from the street want to hear from a guy clean cut like me. They call me a pretty boy. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
But they felt the authenticity of my spirit.
mm-hmm.
And that's what they needed. And I remember the first time I realized that this was something I really need to do. I was teaching a class. There were about 10 young men in there, and I talked about my dad. They were like, "You know your daddy?"
Oh wow, like that was an anomaly.
I'm serious, unanimously.
Wow.
It you hear about it, but
Uh-huh.
sitting right there, and they were like, and then one by one, they started telling me their individual stories about
Mm,
their father. Like most of them were in jail, dead. And so I was like, oh my God, like they need me. And so
mm-hmm.
this project safety is sort of a chronicling of those experiences and
Mm.
those emotions, like the yard, songs for the
The
yard.
yard, yeah.
Songs for the yard is like, what is that place? What is that space you need to find that freedom, to find that safety, to open up? And so, being a place of safety for someone, is symbolic to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, can I tell you, as a young man, what I've been through that I don't want nobody to know? Come on, bro, I got you.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And so a lot of the amazing stories I haven't told publicly because they're private. And
right,
this
right, right.
album was sort of a tribute to a lot of
Uh-huh.
those private experiences where someone said, "Hey, I was about to kill myself until I heard you,
Mm,
until I heard your music," or "Hey, my Christianity ain't changed nothing in my life. I'm still struggling."
mm-hmm.
Those private moments where I can't get on Facebook and say, "Hey, I talked to this person today," and they
Mm-hmm.
so when you listen to that album, you're really feeling a couple of years of personal, private experiences with people
Mm,
where it touched me and ignited this emotion that I was like, let me just capture this in songs.
mm,
Like one of the songs is called Fingerprints, and it's like when everything seems to be broken and stolen in your life, and when the dust settles, you'll find his fingerprints. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
The good and the
mm-hmm.
bad work together. So
Mm-hmm.
so many people go through so much, but where is God in that process? Everything ain't the devil. Everything ain't the
Right.
enemy. Some things
Mm-hmm.
that make you stronger. Some things are to help you, you know, steer you in the right direction with your relationships if you pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to the higher purpose. And so this project really capitalizes on, me making myself uh, available for that type of experience with other people.
Wow. I'm in love with you. Oh my God. Wow, that is so beautiful because somebody in your, I don't want to say your level because you're a human being, but what I mean, somebody who has earned the accolades, maybe that's the way I should say it, that you have,
Mhm.
and is willing to take the time to help people who have not done the things that you've done, have not been, they haven't even had a father, in their lives like you
Right.
had. And that's what our children need. They need someone to listen, someone to encourage, those something. And many times that's the missing thing because if they don't have a father, don't have a mother, they're at home, and then who's listening to them?
Right.
Or sometimes mothers and fathers are so busy they're not listening. So it's not always that they're absent. It's sometimes
Right.
that they just don't take the time to listen. Really do, because our children really need that, and especially our boys, our young
Oh,
men. They need it. They
absolutely.
need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need it terribly. Oh my God. So let me ask this question. I don't want to get too mushy, so let me back up and get myself together. And I don't want to get you so, So if you had a dream, a person, like you want to collaborate with, who would that person be, or that group be, or whomever?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? Let's do both.
Okay. All right. All right. Transition. I would have loved to work with Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers.
Ooh. A change is gonna come, honey. I
Yeah.
love myself some Sam Cooke.
Yeah, Sam Cooke. But
Because
I'm
my
saying
mama
in
used
the
to
in
listen to
the
him.
in the
Yes.
soul in the Soul Stirrers. See, you got to go
Mm,
back a little bit before Sam Cooke went
mm,
solo to the Soul Stirrers.
mm,
So if you listen to a lot of my music, you'll hear this sort of quartet-esque arrangement
mm,
in my music. So that goes back to my roots in quartet. And so I love Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers. So if anybody was, hadn't heard of the Soul Stirrers, go back.
mm-hmm,
And I could just
mm-hmm,
imagine myself writing and
mm,
producing those kind of vocals, those rich Southern gospel vocals.
mm-hmm.
You still got that jazzy flavor to it. Oh my.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
so Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers.
Mm.
That would be my choice in terms of the past. Current. Oh. Ah, I don't know. I don't know quite so much current.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
What about a female, do a duet with a female? Who would that be?
Hmm. Hmm. See, that tells you something. I'm less.
Well,
It's not,
let me
it's
tell
not
you
as easy to find.
what
It's
I
not.
would hear. Let me tell you what I would like to hear. So,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I love Jasmine Sullivan's voice. I
Ooh,
absolutely love her voice. And when I
yeah.
was listening to you, I'm like, wow, that would be a beautiful, as I
Uh,
was thinking about some questions, I was thinking, ooh, that would be beautiful.
okay.
You need to call
That's a
Jasmine
good
and
one.
see what she
That
thinks.
that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Davin and Sullivan.
And you can call it Dr. Marsha, so right?
I could do that. I could do. Yeah, Jasmine. Oh, that's a bad girl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. And you know who else I love? That not Coco Brown, Coco Jones.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Mm-hmm.
She is good too. I think she sampled Mr. Lenny Williams, the
Yes.
O song. And oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
And what she did with that was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
See?
yeah, it's just, some of these folks out here today are just so incredibly talented. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like beyond, you know,
yeah.
if you had to measure, it'd be off the charts, as they say. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. That's true.
Yeah.
And you're hearing a lot more reaching back
Mm-hmm.
now. And you're hearing the younger generation starting to embrace
Mm-hmm.
a lot more of the old soul and mixing in with the pop style R&B.
Yes,
You're
yes,
starting to hear
yes,
it. You're starting to,
yes.
out like my music from when I was a teenager is starting to become their old school. You know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm,
90s and
mm-hmm,
the 2000s, you're starting to hear those songs kind of show up in the throwback versions,
mm-hmm,
productions,
mm-hmm,
which is really cool, you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And as a person who's been in the game, how long have you been in the music business?
Well, I'll say as a musician,
Mm-hmm,
my life, and
mm-hmm.
performance side, I
Did you
grew up.
play at church?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay,
Played bass guitar, and when I toured, in the beginning of my career, I toured as a bass guitarist and
okay.
a musical director. So, putting the
Mm-hmm.
shows together and that type of thing. But my first placements as a songwriter started happening around 2010.
Okay.
Of course, as you're touring, you're messing around and you're trying to get placements and you're networking and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Around 2010 was when I started getting people to sing my songs and get placements that showed up on the radio and on the charts.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012 is when it really started hitting. Joe had the top 10 hit with Joe, the artist,
Mm-hmm.
and got some gospel
And what
award.
song was that you
Um,
wrote for Joe?
so it was the first single that I had for Joe was a song called "I'd Rather Have a Love."
Mm,
I'd rather have a love than have a life alone. And so
mm,
that did really well. And then I did a song with him and Fantasia called Love and Sex. And then
mm,
remixed that and won a Soul Train Award for Best R&B male female vocal
mm,
performance with Kelly Rowland. Um, he
mm,
had another single called If You Lose Her. So I had a nice little stretch of singles with Joe that did really well on the charts and
mm-hmm,
sprinkled a lot of gospel in. So I've had a
mm-hmm,
lot of gospel success.
mm-hmm.
Noel Pye, Bishop Paulus Morton. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
we had in Trinity Five
Yeah, I
Seven.
saw the
Yeah.
25/7 poem one. Wow.
Yeah, so so I still, write on both
Mm-hmm,
sides of the fence, if you have to say. Um,
mm-hmm,
And so I would say on the intellectual property side of the business or the songwriting, production, about 15 years
mm.
where I'm in the system and starting to make some money. But
Right. Okay. Okay.
but I've been around different aspects of the music industry as a performer,
Mm-hmm.
as a gigging musician. I've been around that my whole life. You know what I mean? So,
Okay. Okay.
and I think that's I love that part of my career that I was able to balance it out, while trying to achieve my own success as a writer, as a performing artist, that I was able to get out and still play and do weddings and do,
Yes.
play for churches,
Mm-hmm.
and perform to give myself a solid foundation in the
Mm-hmm.
music industry.
Mm-hmm. And what advice would you give this future generation who may aspire to be what you are today? So, in other words, aspiring to be a songwriter, a singer, as well as producer and all that. Would you recommend that they do all of those things, or just what advice would you give them?
Well, I wouldn't recommend anybody try to do it my way.
Yeah.
Because I've been at it for a long time and my
Mm-hmm.
evolution has taken a while. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But what I always tell people is, there's no one way for you to be successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no one way for you to be successful. And my motto, which is also my entertainment company, is called HILL, HILL. And
Mm-hmm.
it's an acronym for hope, inspiration, love, and loss. Okay. Because of hope, I have the inspiration to pursue what I love at the risk of loss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I tell anybody out there, you have to have a dream.
Yes.
And that dream, that hope should inspire you to pursue that thing that you love. Like do it because you love it,
Mm-hmm.
but expect to get a few L's along the way.
Yes.
If you expecting to be successful and it's all peachy cream and you don't want to L, well, you can't get on the hill if you're afraid to take an L. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be willing to be rejected. You have to be willing to be told no. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to catch that L if you're going to get up the hill. And so that's my personal motto, and I share that with anybody. Just pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
Just go after it because you love it, and your story will be yours. And there's no one way to get up your hill. But what is it that you're dreaming to accomplish? And so for me, my story is I love doing what I want to do when people don't believe that I can do it. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
thought that I should be a writer because I was such a great bass player.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody wanted me to, they like, man, I was really great bass player, but I wanted to produce and write. And so people were kind of like, why are you doing that? And so once I started getting placements as a writer, I said, I want to sing. And they were, why you want to
Why
sing?
you doing that? You're
Why are you
doing too
doing
much.
that?
No, you're doing too much. I know they told you that.
Oh, and then everybody that was close to me, like, man, you should just be a manager because you're so great at business. And I'm like, when are y'all gonna realize you can't define me?
Hello.
I do that. I do that. And so now, so now when people hear me singing and they see me on the radio, they don't even know I played the bass
Mm-hmm.
because that was my journey. I wanted to evolve. And so when I become an executive producer for movies and all that stuff, that'll be my story because that's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. And I want to keep evolving. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would never advise anybody else to follow my path. Get on your own heel, right? You
Yes.
determine what success is for you, but be ready to fail along the way because that's what makes you greater when you
Yeah.
get to the top of the hill. You
As
know what I
Mary said, that's what builds your muscle, right?
mean? And that's what helps you lose your stutter when somebody asks you.
I know that's right, right, right. You know what to say
You
already,
know
right?
what to
You're
say. You've
ready.
been through a few things, right?
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that's some wonderful advice. You
Yeah.
know, pick your own path, design your own plan, follow that, be willing to, along the way get some L's because that's what life is all about. But guess
That's
what?
right.
Learn from them and keep going.
There you go. There you
Keep
go.
it moving.
Keep
Yep.
it moving.
Yeah, and I love that ever evolving too,
Yes.
because what that says to me about you is okay, so I'm not done yet. There's
Oh,
some other things I want to do. I may be the next Tyler Perry. Okay. Right.
keep watching.
Yes,
Keep
keep
watching.
watching. I
I'm
was
getting younger, baby. Look at these dimples. I'm getting younger.
that's right. That's right. Yes. Hey, I'm not getting old. I'm getting younger, baby. I'm doing
Younger,
this.
baby.
This is a Benjamin Button moment, right?
That's right.
Right.
My kids tell me, Daddy, we love you so much better with hair.
Right.
We don't like it when it was long. So
Right.
my kids say I'm way cooler with hair. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah. But you know about keeping younger or staying young, when you are living your dreams,
Yes.
it has an impact, not just your emotional, your mental, but your physical as
Yeah.
well. It
Yeah.
impacts you whole, like the whole person.
It
And
does.
that's a beautiful thing because guess what? When we can do that, but there are some people that are just,
Mhm.
all the time, like, do you ever smile? Do you have anything to laugh about? Let me tickle you, make you laugh. Right? What is the
Exactly.
problem? Be happy.
Yeah, yeah. People, but you have to teach people the power of laughter and positivity.
Mm,
They,
mm,
they just don't know. I mean, and most people have grown up around such trauma and such drama that they ain't got no reason to smile and be happy. Yes, you do.
right. You're
Yes, you do,
living.
because it'll bring your heart rate down. It'll reduce your
Yes.
stress. It'll help you live longer. That's something my mama taught me, and it's based in the word of God. It's like, laughter is like medicine to your body. And so
Mm-hmm.
my mom she looks super young. She's always smiling. Not doesn't mean she didn't go through anything.
Mm-hmm.
But she
Right. We
always
all
found
do.
joy. She would say joy is a weapon for you. Joy
Mm,
is something that
mm,
helps keep you lifted and it'll clear your mind. And I use that even when I'm in crisis or if I'm having problems. My thing is I can think more clearly if I start thinking about a positive outcome. Then I start
mm-hmm.
seeing the solutions as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to empowering the problems. And so
Mm,
people have
mm,
people have to be taught that. Like even with my children, I make sure they laugh, 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 laugh. And I have healthy children,
mm,
not sick all the time. But a lot of
mm-hmm.
children are sick because they don't laugh. They don't get to play. You know what I mean? They're dealing with grown folks' problem at such a young age.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's health and beauty in laughter. And so like I love hearing you laugh, and we've had a wonderful time.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. I don't even want to go. But anyway.
We got to do it again. I'm just getting started.
I know. Oh, Mr. Garrett, it has been my pleasure.
Same here.
I have had a good time, and I'm all about having a good time.
Me too. Me too.
I don't want to do anything that's going to be boring, that's going to be, I want to laugh and have fun. So I appreciate you for being the man that you are and allowing me to be who I am and not, yes, I really appreciate it.
I love it. Because I was debating, am I going to come on here?
Right. So I think we both won, right? Yeah.
We both won tonight.
Exactly.
And I appreciate you for having me and giving me an opportunity to let people that follow you get a chance to discover me. So
I will stay in touch, and thank you again so much. Have a wonderful evening.
You too, Dr. Marsha.
Bye-bye.
For interviews, music news, and entertainment, go to thefleetmag.com.